people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Unbeaten IBF champion O'Shea Jones took to her social media to react to this weekend's contests by saying, if you're a female fighting 3-minute rounds, you better be punching from 1 second to the bell like Amanda Serrano, or go back to 2 minutes.
Who could she have been talking about?
Screaming for 3 minutes but gassing out in the mid-rounds is insane. I mean, I don't even know why you girls bother.
If my recollection serves me, there was only one woman boxer fighting for 3-minute rounds this weekend, and that woman was Veyre-Baumgardner. And perhaps that's why Tiara Brown said, I'm just waiting to clock these knockouts that were promised. Now everybody's making excuses for not getting them.
Unbeaten up-and-comer in the women's super flyweight division, Liana Cruz was a bit more direct. Like, what bomb? Be so for real.
Oh wow, they're talking shit about Alicia.
To which friend of the channel, very delicious, Unique Bada responded by saying, why are y'all linking up to hate, O'Shea Jones? Y'all are pressed as fuck. I would at Liana and that other no-name, but you already can't fight, and no one knows who you are. Not a good look. Alicia, they've got to team up and hate. Next is the burn book. Fuck out of here. To which Veyre-Baumgardner responded, I told you, it's always the raggedy ones.
So is this about Veyre-Baumgardner not throwing enough punches in the fight?
Personally, I don't really think it's about Veyre-Baumgardner not throwing enough punches for either O'Shea Jones or Tiara Brown or Liana Cruz. Not specifically. I don't think it's about that. And I don't think it's about Alicia not knocking out Veyre Shin because Carolyn didn't knock out Veyre Shin.
Nobody has. Veyre Shin has never been knocked out.
I think it's more about Veyre-Baumgardner not wanting to move up to fight Carolyn Dubois, but expecting Tiara Brown to move up to fight her. I think that O'Shea Jones and Liana Cruz view it as a sort of double standard. I think that
when Chantel Cameron, not but a few weeks ago on the undercard of Dubois versus Harper, fought Kotaskova, she also fought for 10 3-minute rounds, and she didn't get a knockout either, but I didn't see O'Shea Jones or Tiara Brown or Liana Cruz saying anything about that.
So that if they're saying anything about this, it's not necessarily because Alicia didn't get a knockout or because she wasn't throwing enough punches. It's because they already don't like her. And this just gives them ammunition to have a go at her. And they want to have a go at her because she called out their friend. Because she called out Tiara Brown.
I don't presume to be any fighter's publicist. I'm not on anybody's payroll, so I'm not going to take sides here over this thing. Near as I can tell, it's more of what I've been telling you. As Veyre-Baumgardner's star continues to ascend, and she enters into the spotlight more and more, there are going to be people that don't like her. People that don't like her because she called out Tiara, people that don't like her because she's putting off the Dubois fight, people that don't like her because she started referring to herself in the third person.
People that don't like her. In a very general sense, there are always going to be people out there. You can't do nothing right for them. They're not going to like you.
So you're saying that they're hating on Alicia?
In a manner of speaking, as the kids like to say, why you hating?
Why you mad?
The act of hating on someone, as the kids like to say, is an irrational disdain for an individual, leaving one so inclined to always tear them down. Seemingly irrational.
Because if it were coming from a more rational place, then it's not really hating. You have your reasons.
But the thing is, everybody has theirs, so it's a very thin line that separates a valid criticism from hating on someone.
Are they hating on Alicia? Is that what this is?
Some might say that they are, some might say that they're not, that their criticisms are justified. The real story is that they're clicking up over there at MVP.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
It's not all tampons and vibrators over there. Everybody don't get along with everybody else. The list of fighters that seemingly have an axe to grind with Veyre-Baumgardner is growing, not even exclusive to the Valkyries under MVP, Some of the ones over there at Salida.
Newly minted WBC Super Featherweight champion Carolyn Veyre said, "I'm all natural. For your information, I earned my belt through a victory against someone that she had a no contest with."
She's talking about Delphine Persoon, but she's also talking out of her ass.
Carolyn continued, "And let's be honest, the lot, including myself, think that she lost to Michaela Mayer, and her quote-unquote avenged win against Lenardatu, she popped dirty without any explanation."
I said it when it happened. For as long as Alicia dares to wear boxing gloves following that controversy, people are going to sling mud. They're going to use that against her, whether she was exonerated or not.
And she was. She was cleared. She was never actually suspended. She was never stripped of any of her titles, but people still use it against her.
Carolyn Veyre is using it against her, saying that she had a no contest with Delphine Persoon. Yeah, listen, you struggled with Delphine a lot more than she did. Alicia Baumgardner was well on her way to knocking out Delphine Persoon. The only reason she didn't was because of a clash of heads and a cut that opened as a result. If not for that, Alicia was going to pack her up. I saw that fight.
Carolyn struggled with Delphine Persoon. Alicia didn't. If this is Carolyn's way of landing an Alicia Baumgardner fight, for undisputed.
If the only way you can say anything about her fight with Delphine is to remove all the context, you may as well say nothing at all.
She's gunning for a fight.
She might get it. I mean, Alicia doesn't look to be moving up anytime soon, and Carolyn is there.
She'd have to go back to fighting for 10 2-minute rounds instead of 10 threes, because the WBC's not going to go for it.
Though 10 2-minute rounds or 10 3-minute rounds, any way it happens, I would pick Alicia to beat Carolyn. Carolyn's good, but she's not on Alicia's level.
We'll see who Alicia ends up fighting next.
In men's welterweight news, Romero says, "I never want to hear them call me out again." Rolly responds to failed negotiations with Devin Haney. During a conversation with Fight Hub TV, Romero talks about not being able to secure a fight with Devin after it initially seemed to be tracking, and breaks down why he says he's the most avoided fighter in the entire sport.
Is it my imagination, or does the American boxing scene seem less and less serious as of late, with the retirement of Terence Crawford and Vasyl Lomachenko?
Not that Vasyl Lomachenko was American, because he wasn't, but he was based out of America. He primarily fought here, and boxing just seems like more of a joke in the United States than a serious warrior's sport, a gladiator sport.
Got this fucking retard talking about he's the most avoided fighter?
I told you, they were just lying the whole time, Romero said. They said I sent them a great offer, did they not? They said all this stuff, but they want it anyway out because Devin doesn't have a chin. They like to waste people's time. Oh, Debo Dev doesn't duck anybody. Before it was like because I wasn't entertaining, but I'm like, we're gonna see. Let's press at it, and now it shows. Those guys are deceitful. They lie non-stop. Everything that Devin and Bill touch gets shattered. Every promotional company, because they cannot do anything. They cannot generate views. They cannot generate income for anybody. And they know that.
I actually agree with him there.
So they didn't want to bet on themselves because, well, they know they're not worth anything. I never want to hear them call me out again, or bring me up, or any of that stuff. It's dead. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's done.
Let's just say that Romero's a fucking moron. But even a broken clock is right twice a day, and what he said about Devin and Bill there, he's 100% right. They're not worth the money that they often ask for.
And that's why they won't bet on themselves. They don't trust Devin's drawing power enough to make whatever they make off the upside, because in all likelihood, there isn't going to be one. Romero was then asked about Haney saying the terms of the deal weren't to his liking. We're putting up all the money. What more does he want? Romero asked. It's a 50-50 split. We're putting up all the money. Bet on yourself. You're Devin Haney Promotions, right? That's how it works, right? We told him, go sell your 50% to DAZN.
They didn't want it.
Nobody wanted to put up the money because they know there was no money, because Devin can't sell. That's what it is.
He's only half right. Yeah, Devin can't sell, but you can't sell either.
It would have been Amazon, and they could have brought in DAZN. We gave them permission to bring on DAZN, or whoever they want. It would have been Amazon and DAZN. I'm literally the most avoided fighter in boxing. I've had 5 mega fights.
5 mega fights?
Duck Me. Connor Ben Duck Me is clear as day. We had the whole deal set up. Another one is Ryan, who disappeared, and then the Pacquiao stuff disappeared. Pacquiao disappeared long before Floyd even came into the picture for a supposed rematch. If I was such a bum, they would call...
You are a bum.
Come take my title for a good purse, right? They're all ducking me. Every single one of them.
The truth is, a lot of fights have fallen apart for Rolly Romero, but it's not because anybody's scared of him. He is a bum.
He's not a good fighter, and in many ways, he is the embodiment of everything that's wrong with the existing framework. He shouldn't be a welterweight champion because he hasn't even fought a real welterweight yet.
All those fights that fell apart for Rolly didn't fall apart because anybody's scared of him. You know, Ryan is said to be in deep negotiations for a Conor Benn fight, which is many times bigger than a rematch with Rolly. With Manny, the real reason that fight fell apart is because Rolly ain't worth no money.
It is true, it fell apart long before Manny Pacquiao landed on a Floyd Mayweather rematch, but initially, the reason the fight fizzled out is because Rolly isn't worth any money. Everything he said about Devin, while true, also applies to him. He's worth even less than Devin.
And that's why Manny bailed on him.
Now, why Devin bailed on him, it is true what he said about Devin.
Devin doesn't want to bet on himself because underneath it all, him and Bill know the kind of money they're looking for is the kind of money they're not good for. So they rely on the other guy's promoter to make everything happen. That's the way it is.
Said it from the beginning, Devin would have been better off signing an extension with Matchroom than going into free agency hoping that Turkey would pay for all of his fights moving forward. There was never any guarantee that Turkey was going to keep using you in all of his shows, but if you would have signed an extension with Matchroom, they would have kept you busy in the interim and got you a 7-figure purse on the low end of 7 figures, but still 7 figures. And for fights like the Rolly fight, they could have helped pay for it.
But you wanted to be free.
Now to a lot of people, you just seem like more trouble than you're worth. What did you think? You're gonna go over to the PBC and they're gonna guarantee you $5 and $6 million? Take that gamble when you're not their fighter? Seems like you don't understand this business as much as you think you do.
You thought you were going to outsmart everybody because they were overpaying you at the Zone for a time, then at Top Rank, then Turkey overpaid you, and now?
Now the well is running dry and people are realizing that even in fights where Devin wins emphatically, it doesn't please the crowd and it costs a lot of money. More money than the event is actually worth. So why keep using him if it's not going to result in big ticket sales or big pay-per-view buys? What's the point in constantly kicking out all that cash?
What?
So that he can jab and grab and jab and dash his way to a ho-hum points decision?
Fuck that.
I don't really care if Devin doesn't fight again this year. Or Rolly, for that matter.
I care about either of them.
I find it annoying that a fighter like Devin Haney and his inflated sense of self and marquee value drives the cost of everything up with his financial demands for money that he isn't good for.
Rolly's the epitome of what's wrong with today's boxing scene, at least in America. That guy shouldn't be a welterweight champion. He never fought an actual welterweight.
I don't care for either of them, and a fight between them, albeit a unification match.
I don't really give a shit if it is.
Men's junior middleweight news. Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Goldenboy Promotions are set for July 14th arbitration. The rift between them is set to come to a head in a few weeks' time.
And reach some finality.
Virgil Ortiz and Goldenboy Promotions are scheduled to begin their mediation process in Vegas on July 14th, with the unbeaten junior middleweight seeking to extricate himself from a once-tight connection with Oscar De La Hoya. Amid opposing lawsuits, the Texas native Ortiz, claiming his earning power for an anticipated showdown with Jaron Ennis was diminished, while Goldenboy argues Ortiz's manager, Rick Merrigan, sought to move the fighter towards another promoter. The matter is on track for a resolution by September. Virgil Ortiz's case to achieve free agency seemed strong at first, and there were many compelling talking points like Oscar De La Hoya's public behavior and his rifts with all the other promoters, anyone from Dana White to
Eddie Hearn.
His little clapback Thursday segments that do more to create professional enemies for Goldenboy Promotions and make things difficult than make fights happen. But perhaps the most compelling point in Virgil Ortiz's case is that because Goldenboy Promotions was between broadcasters, they didn't have a place for Virgil to fight.
And per his contract, if they don't have a broadcaster, Goldenboy doesn't have a fighter.
That was only the case momentarily, and now that it's established, Goldenboy will continue on the DAZN platform per their newly inked deal. I don't think Virgil has a case anymore, at least not a strong one. So what can we expect to happen between July and September?
A lot of the other stuff that Virgil's legal team said was true, but it was all supplementary. The strongest part of the case was that Golden Boy didn't have a broadcaster. Now that they do,
I think his case is cooked. I think that Rick Merrigan immediately experienced buyer's remorse, buying into the idea that he could funnel Virgil somewhere else so that they could start making more money.
his bright idea.
Because shortly after it was announced that Golden Boy Promotions had reached a new deal with DAZN, he texted Oscar and he wanted to talk things out. The same guy who was going around Oscar behind his back to take Virgil somewhere else. He realized then and there their case is cooked.
Oh, now you want to talk things out?
The truth is, I expect them to reach an uneasy truce in between July and September, because it doesn't benefit anyone to have Virgil on the sidelines and not fighting. It doesn't benefit Rick Merrigan any more than it benefits Oscar, and it certainly doesn't benefit Virgil. They've lost enough time on this.
Virgil's of no use to Oscar De La Hoya on the bench. Whether Oscar likes it or not, he's one of the few flagship fighters that he has, and it benefits him more to keep him fighting and keep him active than acting out of spite. Rick Merrigan, try as he might.
All his fucking bright ideas. He thought he could take Virgil somewhere else to make a bit more money, and he was wrong. He's fast realized that, and it benefits him greatly to smooth things over with Oscar so they can get Virgil fighting again. He's already fought once this calendar year in what was the Erickson-Lubin fight. If they can smooth things out in between July and September, there's still enough time to get Virgil another fight so that the year isn't a complete wash.
All this was over what he stood to make from the Jaron Ennis fight that they can revisit in the fall and winter months, provided that Boots beats Xander Zayas.
Or maybe they can go to Xander if he beats Boots. Either way, they need to get Virgil fighting, and if they don't have any luck in that department with either of those two fighters, they can see what Sebastian Fundora is up to. He's still WBC champion, and they've still got the interim title.
A direct path to fight Sebastian Fundora. They've got options.
And some bad blood. There is still going to be some hard feelings there in between Team Ortiz and Golden Boy Promotions, but in the name of business and doing what's best, they have to smooth this over. They have to get Virgil fighting.
He's got to earn a living. Rick Merrigan's got to get his cut, and Oscar De La Hoya has to deliver content to his broadcast partner. Virgil Ortiz would be that content. So what I expect to happen in between June and September is an uneasy truce between the feuding factions.
I expect that Virgil Ortiz will continue to box on the Golden Boy Promotions side of things for the foreseeable future, as Golden Boy Promotions remains on the DAZN platform for the foreseeable future. Bottom line, I don't expect the situation to change, try as they might.
That's the best outcome for all the affected parties. Get back to work, get back to business, get Virgil back to fighting.